Welcome, welcome, welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And tonight, we have a very special guest. This New York City baller was second team All-City in 1976 and 77 out of William E. Grady High School. He went on to dominate at Kansas State University, where he was Big 8 Player of the Year in 1980 and Defensive Player of the Year in 1978, 79, and 80, which made him a consensus All-American and first-round draft pick to the Dallas Mavericks. Help me welcome four-time NBA All-Star Rolando Blackman.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. 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 Go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. 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 East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Bro.
How this day going? What's going on?
Oh, man. Excellent, man. Good to see you again.
Exactly. We got all that stuff taken care of this afternoon. I'm so happy we did, too. So happy we did.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. Yep. So, to get things started on with the night, I got my guy drawing something nice for you, man.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Our resident artist, Jamel Powell, he played for Coach Granby at Jackson.
There you go. Just make sure he got me hitting the shot, though, as usual.
Turn your phone the other way. Yeah, turn your phone that way. There you go. So we can see.
There you go. Smooth.
So, who introduced you to the game?
Oh my goodness! At the first introduction of the whole thing was my uncle Vernon took me to the park, and I don't know what the heck. I didn't know what the heck was going on that first day. The idea was that I was just looking around, understanding what's going on, seeing what's happening. But then when I came back to the park 3 days later, over at Ditmas Park, there was this guy by the name of Ted Gustus. Ted was out there shooting around, playing. These kids were running around, and I had an opportunity, and he came over to me. He said, "Hey, yo, man, you want to play?" I was so excited, man, just to have somebody ask me if I wanted to play, because I couldn't play worth the doggone whatsoever. And Ted brought me around, and that's where the whole thing started, man. At the age of really like 10, 11 years old, I started to play this game called basketball, and Ted took me through the paces from all the scrub courts that I was playing on with all the guys like me till I got to the top of high school when I was playing on court number 1 for Teddy. Yep. A lot of important things, man.
Wow. So where in Brooklyn did you grow up?
Matter of fact, I was right there at Eastern Parkway. I was at Eastern Parkway, 500 Eastern Parkway in Nostrand, where they had that theater at the corner.
My guy Pat Burke. We were just on that block today, me and Phil.
Exactly. I was right up the block. I was right up in the middle of the block. It's 500 Eastern Parkway. That's when I first got to New York and didn't know what the heck was going on. All I saw was all these bunch of cars. It was crazy people walking up and down. I had just come from Panama. I didn't know what was happening. The people were speaking all this English around me. It was a madhouse for an 8-year-old, man. But I'm telling you, it was something my grandmother wanted for me. And God bless her soul, man. It took the path, and thank her so much for having me come up to this country.
Definitely. Salute grandma, for sure.
Definitely.
So, was Ted Gusty your first coach?
Oh yeah. When you talk about coaching the game of basketball and understanding the game, I was over there at 645 East 94th Street. That's where we had moved to at that time to being able to get that stuff done. And I would walk over 2 blocks to Ditmas Park. And walking over to Ditmas Park, that's when Ted pulled me around. And I'm telling you, man, we had to be there early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, trying to learn this game, understand how to dribble, keep your head up. You know what I mean? Get to your finger, connect to your fingertips, moving back and forth, understanding the game. Don't do it so stiff like that. Make sure you got free flow, moving and everything too. Can you see the cutter? Move. You can't look down and dribble if you don't see the cutter. You got to. Then how do you get your feet together? Change positions. It was just a deluge of stuff that was teaching, but it was done with care. It was done with love, and it was done with mass operational skills, man. Because he got you prepared to actually execute, which helped me a great deal. So Teddy was the one teaching the game and teaching the spirit of how to play the game also, which is very important.
Yeah, he was on last night. He talked about how much he loved you guys and his passion for teaching kids basketball. And he said once he started to love the kids, coaching became easy.
Well, he did everything for us. He was there all the time. He was taking us through, like didn't have a father in the house, but I had a father outside, and that was Ted. Ted was taking us through every piece of the puzzle. Sit up straight, talk this and that and the other. Look somebody in the eye when you talk to him. Make sure you say yes, sir, no, sir, no. Put this together. Have respect. Do you do your homework? Did you get every single piece of the puzzle, plus teaching the game and really giving us experiences also too? Because all those tournaments we went to play in, we didn't have any money. Ted was selling coupons, getting books set up, doing this, going to the back of this, and getting money from this person, that person. All I knew was I had a T-shirt that said Citywide on that bad boy, and I was in a tournament. That's it. Teddy took care of all of that and really took us to where we needed to go, man. From young kids all the way through to when we left high school as young men. So it's really, when I tell you it's really special, it's like I tell people around here, it's a godsend. Without him, you don't get the proper principles in order to move past high school and continue to develop and grow.
Yeah, that's very important. And what we did last night, we honored Coach Gustis with we have an award in his name, right? It's called the Game Over Basketball Heads Award. And the first recipients of that award was Rob Phelps and Coach Ray Haskins.
Excellent. Coach Haskins too, definitely so. Oh my goodness. And Rob, my goodness, man. Rob came down to the Maverick training camp and was doing work, man. And that's one of the things that people don't understand, is that at the end of the day, you have to be ready. And then Rob ran into the politics of too many players, who got drafted, how much money, this and that and the other. He got into the political side of the whole thing. But he could hoop. He came down there hooping them, playing, shooting, doing all that thing. That's why I tell kids all the time, you got to be ready, you got to be prepared, because at the end of the day, people making decisions, but the number one thing is you got to be a hooper.
Yes.
First and foremost, you got to play, and that's what he did. Came down there and did work, man, for sure.
All right, so I've been hearing this word hoop a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we replacing the hooper? Right? Are we replacing baller with hooper? Like, I've been hearing this new, not saying it's new, but it's becoming a new thing to say about ball players. Call them a hooper.
Well, the thing about it, I started hearing it years ago, man, when somebody said, damn, man, he could hoop. You know what I mean?
Hoop.
He can
yeah,
hoop.
Okay.
But the idea of a hooper is that you coming into any place, anywhere, and you laying your game down. You know what I mean? It's not any possibility that you're going to not come and show your wares. Put yourself out there to go play and to come and do work. That's the main factor. It's not anything to do with anything except for there's a ball out there, there's some opponents out there, and you come in to show what you come in to do. Period. That's the thing. You know, Brooklyn, New York is so wonderful. The things that I remember in the toughness that it showed, the ability to being able to now focus, because you had to focus in order to play the game of basketball. You got people out there behind the fence cussing, going off, yelling and screaming for their people, yelling against you. Whatever the situation is, you have to be able to come with the wares to being able to do the job and to do it well. And that was very, very important. New York prepared me for that completely, to being able to be focused and be able to be a shot maker. Hit the doggone shots. Don't be taking shots, hit them.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna get to that part as well. At that time when you was a young player and Coach Gustis took you under his wing, who was the best player in your neighborhood at the time?
Oh my goodness. I mean, when I was young, when I was young like that, all I kept hearing about all the time was I kept hearing about I mean, Bernard was huge, big, and playing the game. I mean, we had a whole bunch of guys playing the game, but the only person that I can remember at that time was Julius Irving playing the game, the doctor. The people would be checking him out all the time. People would be checking out Earl the Pearl Monroe doing his spins and step backs and putting this all together. The Celtics in New York were having some serious series, and of course when you go out to LA, when you had Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain out there, you had a whole lot of different pieces of the puzzle. Chicago had some nice boys out there with Chet Walker, Butterbean Love. They had a whole lot of people that would come down to being able to play. But at that time, the New York Knicks and Boston Celtics were in our area. And that's who we used to watch all the time, to being able to see what's happening. And especially when you had the coolness of Clyde Frazier walking around. I don't know, he must have spent half his money on his clothes, because that's what I remember. Everything Clyde wore with them hats, furs, all the shoes to match. He was a walking modeling show, but he could play the game. And it was something that was special to us at that time too. And don't let me forget Kareem too. My goodness, working it in Milwaukee, working it, him and Oscar. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you were looking past the neighborhood. You was looking at the guys that you may be playing against one day.
Oh, the thing about it, I was just trying to learn, Glenn. I was just trying to learn and understand what this game was about. Teddy was always talking about learn the whole game, understand the format of the game, who was cutting, who was going on. The reason I shoot the catch and shoot is because I saw Dollar Bill Bradley grab the ball and he didn't dribble. He shot the ball. He just shoot it. I saw Clyde Frazier come down, setting stuff up, being able to handle, dribble, no look passes, putting the ball up in the air. I saw Havlicek come down, and he was giving it to everybody. 28 points a game, and he would move more. Move, shot runners off the glass. I mean, it was watching a lot of people play. Even Dean the Dream Manager coming off the bench, putting some smooth defense, putting that kind of stuff too. Barrett Barnett was over there kicking with that left hand, kicking them legs out with the. It was just a lot of people to watch, to being able to understand what Ted was talking about in watching the whole game. And of course we all knew and understood about Jerry West and the players that could shoot the ball. Pistol Pete was out there doing his thing also. So it was a variety of players. And of course, I mean, Julius was the king at that time too, man. Nobody messed around with the doctor.
Yeah, Coach and I last night were talking about the best teams that played in the NBA, like the best 5, right? And we wound up having the same team, right? So I'm going to tell you what my team was. And my team is the same team Coach Gustus had. Mm-hmm. We had Kareem at the center.
Got it.
Connie Hawkins at the 4.
Okay.
Bernard at the 3. You at the 2. And Tiny at the 1.
Oh, you're talking about New York. You're talking about New York
players. We just talking about New York.
Oh,
that's
definitely.
it.
I mean,
this is the New York-based podcast, so we just talking about New York.
I was deeply appreciative of all of that kind of stuff too, because at the end of the day, when you talk about people putting the ball in the hole, having the opportunity to be seriously consistent and really play the game at the highest level, then when I saw everybody there, we can put up an argument if you want, but let's get to it.
Listen.
I'm just saying it's not an issue, because you have.
That's right.
It's not an issue, because when you talk about catching and shooting, putting the ball up, or taking you one-on-one too. So either way, I didn't need the screen either. So the main factor was just to being able to play the game, make the passes. I could play the 1 and the 2. So the important factor was to being able to get the game done and get the game done right and shoot the ball at a high level, and which is what I was able to do, I'm very, very proud of that.
You was a two-way player, bro. Let's not even be modest. You won Defensive Player of the Year, 1978, 79, and 80. This is not by coincidence. And I pride myself on playing defense as well. So when you're a two-way player like that, listen, sky's the limit. This is why you are the greatest, you know, two guard that come out of New York City.
I played hard, and the main thing about it, I had good teaching. I had good people teaching me all the way around. Even when I played outside of Teddy, I played for Brooklyn, USA, with the great Lester Roberts. So when in those kind of things, I was learning each and every time, looking at seeing exactly what's happening, going up to different places, playing with Brooklyn, USA, and really having an opportunity to play against super ball players from all over the place, going up to Baltimore, going up to Boston, going up to all the different kinds of places, Georgia, playing against the players, but using the principles that I learned from Ted and all the fellas that were on the team to being able to get things together. I learned a lot, man, but the main factor was that it wasn't just only skills. It was just the applied science of being tough-minded and also working within a team. If you got 9, 10 people that can work together, then you have a chance of winning on a consistent level. And that always stayed in my mind, even when I left high school and got to Kansas State University.
Wow. Did you play in the Brevoort Sports Foundation?
No, matter of fact, I played a couple games in Brevoort, but I didn't play a whole bunch of games in Brevoort. I was down there playing citywide every year, all the time. I played on West 4th 2 times down there, and that's about it. That's about it. I was always in the park working on my game, left hand, right hand, speed, stop, shoot, go to the basket. And you know how it is in New York when the wind is blowing, you know what I mean, running around all over the place. I was still busting jumpers with the wind blowing. So with that situation is just to being able to be a player, but taking the coaching that I had from a lot of great people, man. And New York, the city really helped me, man, because you really had to have the right kind of attitude, because that transformed me from being a shy, quiet guy to still being quiet, but being a monster inside. I can bring that up even today, because it's required in order to be at the top of the food chain, because people come, you know what I'm saying? It's required.
That's right.
So I understand where to go when I need it. And that's the important factor. But New York taught me that, though. New York taught me that, all the toughness you needed, the future, the focus that you needed. I think I told you a story about that last time, man, is that what it teaches you is that after all the work that you do, all the 440s, the 220s, all the 100-yard dashes, all the suicides, all the shooting, all the stuff that goes down with all of that, is that at the end of the day, man, you've got to be able to command your skills and put them to work when it's needed. Now, it's needed now. There's 4 minutes to go. You're down 6. You know you're going to get a few more possessions. You got to be able to come with your game. What is it that you control? If you don't control it and you don't own it, then you can't command it when you need it. That's the important. People need to know that, understand that. In Brooklyn, just taught me how to be tough and tough-minded when everything got hard. And that was a great thing when I went to college, and especially my first years in the pros also.
We're gonna talk a little bit because I got my guy, one of my guys down with basketball heads, Pat Alphonse, Grady Great, right?
Pat, wait, first of all, you gotta tell me where Pat is, because Pat is in Brooklyn.
He in Brooklyn. He in Brooklyn.
I thought he might have been in L.A. So, man, he might be sipping on something in L.A. So, okay, Pat, you back in Brooklyn. Okay. My L.A. man, Pat, boy. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. How was it in Grady in the 70s?
Well, I mean, for me, it was just a basic learning experience, man. Being able to come up, had a coach by the name of Fred Moskowitz who was teaching the basic same things that coach was teaching. I would use that stuff on the street, different things, and come up to high school with Fred Moskowitz at Grady High School and learning the game. I played the center position, but I broke the press. I got the ball in the middle, broke through the press, throw it weak side, break the guard down, come back and put that together. But that's because Teddy Gustis had me ready to play any position, even though I played the 5.
Wow.
I played the 5 in high school. So in playing the 5, I was dribbling, I was passing, I was shooting, I was doing all kinds of stuff. And I can remember those Jefferson teams, man, with Sig Green on it.
Sig Green, right. Yes.
Playing with Erasmus, against Erasmus, and Riley Clarita, and all those guys over there too. So it was crazy, man. But when my time was Skip Jackson and Wayman McCoy and all those kind of players that would be Artie Green. Everybody's still scared of Artie Green. you hear Taft coming, but all y'all know that Taft had 3 bad boys on the squad. So it wasn't just Artie, but it was just a lot of fun, man. Earl Fuller, the Nesbitt, and all the fellas, Ron Chisholm, man, could Ron shoot the ball. Just watching people play in the city inspired you all the time. It inspired you because I was talking to my man, I think y'all know who he is. I'm talking to Dave Britton today. I was talking to Britton, and David said to me, you know what? If everybody in New York stays and goes to school in New York, they would have all the powers right around the Eastern Conference. That even if you went to LIC, even if you went to Brooklyn College, you get 5 guys to go to Brooklyn College. Brooklyn College would be up there top 5. So it's just a matter of the city breeds the type of players that can now hold longevity as long as you can command the skill. Because at a pro level, you've got to be able to command the skill and count on it when you need it. And that's what's the most important about it. Not just playing, you got to command what you own and show it when you need it.
Wow. My guy Phil just texted me a question. I got you, Phil. I just wrote it down. So I'm looking at some of the guys who came out during your year. Who we at? It was Al King.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. We played them.
Phil Kidd from Taft. Right? Kenny Page from McKee. Listen, I just did a special on Staten Island, and I didn't realize, never heard of Kenny Page until I'm doing my research on Staten Island. Right?
I was down there, Kenny Page.
Told me, look up Kenny Page. I think Al Eafer told me to do that.
Who was the left-hand kid? Was that Kenny Page? Left-handed. I think it was went to New Mexico, but
no, Kenny went to Ohio State.
Ohio State, okay. There's another kid.
Right, you have Artie Green.
Artie,
who was on the second team. I'm looking at a lot of these guys, and I'm saying, yeah, these guys' names is big, but your name reigns supreme. And it's not to knock any of those guys, right?
No, but it's just also my own development though. I was coming up throughout the time, learning from Ted, learning the opportunity to apply myself, and being able to know how to practice to get better. Left hand, right hand, shooting, making sure that I was in condition to go hard for 40 minutes, not 5 minutes. Go hard for 40, and that way your conditioning is there to being able to apply the skills that you need and to go at the intensity needed to be the best. That's the key. You can play good the first 5 minutes, 6 minutes, but you got to play a full game. You got to whoop the starter. You got to whoop the guy coming off the bench because you whooped the starter, and you got to whoop the third guy coming off just to beat you up. He ain't coming off to play no basketball. He's coming off to take you out of your game, and you got to take care of him too. And it's important to being able to keep getting better, mentally stronger, applying the skills. But you got to be verbal because you got to talk to your teammates also. We're not bowling and we're not playing golf. You got to communicate with your boys. You see something, you got to talk to them about it, and you got to be and you got to be accountable about it. When somebody says, "Man, you're supposed to be there on the back door to be able to take care of that," you can't be mad because you missed it last time and start arguing with them. You got to step up quickly during the timeout. You got to be able to be mature, accountability. Every time you go to a higher level, they're not going to take any excuses, and they're not going to keep taking bad body language, and they're not going to keep taking your inability to be accountable for what's needed. At the highest level, everybody is a bad boy. So you got to be able to come with it, or else you'll be down, and then you'll be losing. So that's the whole situation as far as that's concerned. You got to be more than just tough. You got to be tough mentally and being able to bring your skills through the gruel, the hardship of a game. And day after day, you got to be able to bring that with you at a high level. Nobody should be kicking you in your butt to work hard. You should bring that normally and then compile upon it the skills you need to be in that game.
Brother, the intensity and how you speak, I was just telling everyone, I know why he played at the top of the food chain. I know why he was a 4-time All-Star, just in the way you speak. Now, where did this confident king come from? The confidence king, baby.
It just came from learning, though. The thing about it, I was shy and quiet also in New York. See what I mean? It just came from understanding the requirements. But you need, just like all these AAU coaches you have, which are fantastic. They're doing a wonderful job. I'm happy that young men have these guys in their lives because it's very important. But they must know and understand that you have to add the added value of being able to teach them not only the spirit in which they need to live, the morality in which they need to live, the accountability that's necessary to be successful, but the idea and the opportunity to understand, like Bruce Lee said, the proper emotional content to get on out there. Guys can play the game, but you have to have a certain intensity, man, to bring it. Because if you ain't bringing it, I'm taking it. That's the important thing to understand. Listen to everybody, though, because listen, I want to make sure we understand each other. Because when you go up against and you shake up and you see Michael Jordan you're playing against. When you stand up there, you see it's Reggie Miller. When you look out there, you see Mitch Richmond. When you look out there, you see Clyde Drexler. This ain't no time to be fooling around. You have to have your act together, and you have to know exactly that you're going to be inside of a war. You're not scared of them. They not scared of you. Now it's who has command of their game, as well as the communication skills to make changes with their teammates. You got to be able to be accountable for all those things, and you got to know what's happening. But the confidence comes from understanding your game, understanding to know that I'm not hot, baby. I'm not hot. I'm just going to hit. I'm open. I'm going to hit. I'm not hot. I'm going to do this tomorrow too. You see what I'm saying? It's not, oh, he's on a good streak. I'm not on no good streak. I'm on the streak because I can see the rim. The relationship is between me and the rim. Once I can see the rim, you have to block the shot. If you block it, cool. But if the relationship is with me and the rim, baby, I'm going to do what I did my whole NBA career. I'm going to shoot over 50%, baby. I'm going to let you have it. That's all. See what I mean? It's important. But you grow to that, though, because it's required if you're going to be at the top tier.
Coach asked me to ask you about Rigo Hill.
Ooh. Oh, my goodness. Ooh, Rigo. Man, Rigo, see, Rigo, again, this is one of those things that Rigo was actually, I would suffice to say that when you try to fight, Rigo was like almost the best player on our team at Kansas State University. I mean, not Kansas State, at Grady High School.
At Grady, yes.
At Grady High School. He could dribble, he could pass, he could shoot, he could dime. And when I say dribble, I mean that dribble that cannot be guarded. You can't stay in front of him. You can't stay in front of him. But because he didn't have the proper coaching and understanding of his game to incorporate it at the level in which he could play, that's why I'm saying systemized situations are all good, all fine. Coaches have to know and learn and understand what their players can do. I know your system is nice and all that kind of stuff, and you do all this, but you gotta change for your player. If your player is a fast runner and acting, then get him out in the open. Get him out one-on-one. When the ball's coming down, give it to him. See if he can beat that first player. Let him go. Clear the side sometime, but do things that help him. Rigo could go one-on-one, go to the basket, shoot. If we had those kinds of situations with Rigo, we would have been a better basketball team as far as all that's concerned also too, because he's a major college player, but did not get the prep push and put in position to be the best that he could be. But Rigo could ball, period.
Yeah, we had a guy on my team, Bernard Mitchell. He was our leading scorer, led us to the city championship at Lincoln, and he didn't get the help and the push he needed, right? Because he could have played major D1 basketball and even made it to the NBA if he just had that push, right? But we always talk about it. He's a great professional, and he does well with his family and his kids, so it all still worked out. Who was your toughest competition in high school?
Well, I mean, in high school it was always Jefferson. You know, Jeff was always tough. Erasmus was always tough. That kind of a situation was those guys that we would play with all the time, as far as that's concerned. And of course, I mean, we beat Albert in them by 48. But I didn't want to mention that. But okay, but I didn't want to mention that. But okay.
Hold on. the great when he was like Kenny Anderson in New York City at that time.
Our team played against Albert at Fort Hamilton, and we went up there and rocked them because we had a better team. We had a better overall team.
Okay.
So I'm saying we had a better overall team. He was the only one there, and some other guys, and we had me, Rigo, we had all kind of people that could hoop. So it was very, very tough for them at that time. But Al by himself, Al could play, man. Al could play as far as all that's concerned. But it was definitely the teams over at Jefferson and over at Erasmus also too. I played against Eric Marbury a few times also too. But I think
I'm waiting for you to talk about Lincoln because we like right around the corner.
Yeah,
like,
but
there was no rivalry then.
Yeah, but I can't talk about teams that always whooped our tail though. I can't do that. I can't, you know what I mean? Let me get the lashes. Let me get the lashes and see. Hey, let me see if the scars.
Sorry, Pat. Pat, my bad.
let me see if the scars are still there because even with Eric and all the rest of them, they had nice teams, man. Nice, strong teams. I mean, guys could play 7 and 8, 9 deep. 7 and 8, 9 deep. Guys are on the bench clamoring to get in the games to show what they could do. So Lincoln was always a fantastic teams in that kind of a way. During my time with Fred Moskowitz, with Eric down there, it was just a crazy time. It was just a crazy time with that super team. Definitely so.
Wow. Well, that's crazy, right? Because you guys didn't really have a really good team. You made second team All-City, but you still landed and played in the Big 8. That doesn't happen today.
Yeah, because
a kid doesn't make second team All-City in New York City, and the Big 8 school is coming to get him.
The thing about it is, though, that you continue to grow, though. The idea for kids and everything too is to have coaches and people around them to keep them growing, though. Because you get so many accolades and you get so many pats on the back and you get so much going on for you that you stop and thinking that you've made it somewhere. Yes, you've made it through the first stage of high school as one of the best, and you've gotten some accolades for it. But you've got to continue to grow. That summer and all that kind of stuff, Teddy had me running. I was running like crazy, shooting the ball, and even trying to play at a faster pace and a stronger pace, so that I had that in my mind that when I got to college and I got to the practice court, I was working my tail off. And I had a great player there, which lucky for me, I had a great player there by the name of Mike Evans. And,
yes.
and Mike Evans was there. Chucky Williams had just left the year before and got drafted by Cleveland. Mike Evans was there, and Mike, as a senior, was able to show me how fast things are, because he had a 44-inch vertical. He gets up in the air, and he could shoot. So by the time half the year came, coach would put me on Mike. So I had to guard him, run with him, guard him, that kind of stuff. So it was so intense that I was just getting ready for practice. Like, yo, let me go get this guy, because he's a two-time All-American. I got to go get him. And by the time the year started to play, it's like, okay, Rose started to show his wares at the end of the season coming down. It's like, oh, this kid is stopping even the great Mike. So by the time Mike left for the pros, I came back the next year. I was ready. I was so quick laterally, get up in the air, could play, could understand defense. So I mean that's the reason why I had the chance to be 3 times. I mean, the conference defensive player of the year 3 straight years in a row. You know what I mean? Which was big time.
Who was this? But before you got there, who was the school that was recruiting you? Because and you explained what I was asking very well. But what I'm saying is, what you did in the 70s won't happen today. That's what I'm saying. And it's such an accomplishment, right? Who are some of the other schools that was recruiting you?
Well, the schools that were recruiting me were from all over. By the time I was a senior, I was on my way to being All-City in New York. So now the important thing that I was recruited from schools in LA to New York to all over the place. I went to my first recruiting piece, but I went to Syracuse. I took my recruiting trip to Syracuse, where Rick Pitino was there, being a recruiter and telling me all kind of stuff. My coach and I looked at the roster, and saw all these sophomores and all these freshmen, and he asked me, look at this roster, when are you going to play? I looked at the roster and said, you know what, I can't come to school here. Then after that, there were 2 Brooklyn coaches that went over to Centenary College, Robert Parrish and all this stuff, independent schedule, all that stuff. I went there, and I said, no, that might be something good, but it wasn't a good feel. Then I went over to Marquette with Al McGuire. I went over to Marquette and got a chance to be there, which was sweet. Al was wooing and talking and this and that in New York and Brooklyn, and we love you and this and that and the other. But I got a great break because one of the administrators came over to me and whispered in my ear, said, Al might be leaving. Al might be leaving. Oh, once again, Glenn, man.
What a break.
A break. I got a break. So I didn't sign there. And right after the recruiting tour, he left. He booked. He left.
Was Sam Worthing in at the time?
I don't think so. I think Butch Lee and them had already left too.
Okay.
Bo Ellis and Butch was over there with their smooth uniforms that came out. They had the only uniform that was outside.
Amazing.
I love that. You know what I mean? I love that too. That was a selling point. But I didn't go there. Then I went to Kansas State University. And in that visit, I knew and understood exactly what was happening with that stuff when I went over there too, because that coach, Jack Hartman, don't forget, he's the one who coached Walt Frazier at Southern Illinois. He was Walt Frazier's coach. See what I'm saying? So I knew, like, he coached Walt Frazier, the New York
connection, that childhood connection
like,
now.
That connection there, like, oh my God. And now he just left, Chucky Williams just left first round with Cleveland, and he's coaching another All-American. He can help me. He can help me develop. So I came back, told my coach, and that's it. That was the last visit. I didn't take any more visit outs to UCLA or Arizona State or going somewhere else. I didn't do any more. I stopped right then, signed, and concentrated on going to Kansas State University, which again was a great choice, and it helped me to go to a place that wanted me and was going to give me an opportunity to play right away. No fooling around. Sometimes kids need an opportunity to play, but not to just jump out into any starting situation. A lot of these kids get too much hype, and the coaches and the people right next to them go along with it. Tell the kid the truth, and tell him, because once you get to a college scene, there's a lot of other players there, a lot of scholarship people. The coach is going to play the person that can acquiesce the best, so he can win. You're inside of a group now that winning is first. All that other stuff that you heard about is not that. You got to help me win to play. So with that, that's where your career starts, right there, because it gets even meaner and nastier when you get to the pros. It's even meaner. Nobody hugging you, ain't nobody kissing you, ain't nobody talking about your moms, ain't nobody asking you what they're telling you. Hey, Glenn, we paying you on the 1st and the 15th, right? Do your damn job. Do your job. Your job is to score or to do this, do that, do that. Do it. And now if you're a 17-year-old kid hearing all of that, that's tough sometimes. You can't handle it. That's why I don't mind when a kid goes to school for a couple of years, man. Go to school and get developed for a couple of years. Get the things that you need to become a man. We need men, not boys. Men. Men want to play with other people who are going to help them to win, all right? All that you coming in, trying to learn and all this stuff and all that, that's cool for college. When you come to the pros, people want people to play that's going to help them to win. So don't think that it's no cakewalk and they're going to try to do. No. After you don't make it this year, don't forget, there's a whole bunch of people coming out next year. And there's a whole bunch of people in Europe. Oh, my goodness.
And it's a revolving door.
It's a revolving door, dude. So if you're not ready to do what you do, stay in school. What you doing coming out and you're trying to, no, stay in school, get your education, understand a lot more about what's needed, what's necessary, get your game on, get control and command, and then come out and show them what you can do and come out and take, not come out and be on the other side. You put yourself at a disadvantage when you come to this league too young. You come too young, it's a problem for you, man. This is the adult grind, baby. This ain't got nothing to do with you being a kid, and ain't nobody asking you too many questions about anything. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be shiny coming off. They're gonna send you to some other league, whatever, and some kid out of Spain is going to look good, or somebody's going to have a fantastic year out of UCLA or Georgia. They got this hot kid coming out of Georgia, and you know what? You're cut. He has the spot next year. So don't play games. This is the pros now. This is the pros. It's not. Don't fool around. Be ready. Be ready to show your wares.
Wow. So you winning Big 8 Player of the Year and also Defensive Player of the Year 3 years in a row. Did you realize I'm going to the NBA, or was it a game that you played to let you know that you was ready for the NBA?
I knew as a senior I was ready. I was ready knew as a senior because the year before I had gone down to Rupp Arena and tried out for the 1980 Olympic basketball team. So I was down there with 78 other top players from all over the country and all that kinds of stuff, and everybody was there. And we played down at Rupp Arena, and it was 2 weeks of light that booty on fire. That's what it was. Grab your blowtorch and see if you can make them hop. That's the main factor. Just the kicking tail. It's all over the place. And with that, Glenn, I knew during that second week that I was going to be on the team because I was whooping everybody's tail when I was there. Just me and Isaiah, Mark Aguirre, Sam Bowie, and people give Sam Bowie a bad name now because he broke his foot. But there are reasons why he went ahead of Jordan, people. You just don't understand what kind of player that was. And a guy by the name of Michael Brooks out of LaSalle, man, made the basketball team with all kinds of players, Darnell Valentine, all those things. I went down that morning, 2 weeks later. I went down that morning and expected to see my name. I looked and I saw Kansas State University, Rolando Blackman. I went right to breakfast. I said, cool. I went right to breakfast.
How did I miss that? And it's crazy because I saw a picture of you in the uniform.
I was on the Olympic team. Oh yeah, I made the Olympic
and I
team.
scrolled past, and that's when I got the All-Star pick. Wow! But this is a great segue to my next question. You down at the Olympic trials? All these ball players are there, top-notch Division I players, guys that's gonna go to first round, guys that are, thinking about being legends in the NBA.
Oh yeah.
Who ass did you bust?
No.
I need to know.
All of them. Charles Bradley, Sleepy Floyd, Al Wood, all of them, all the guys that were down there playing the game. It was something that at first, the first day that I was going down there, you're a little bit conscious of all the best players of meeting at one time. And you're conscious of it. And I talked to my coach about it, and he said, son, just like in that country voice, he said, son, what are you worried about? You're one of the best in the country. Just go do what you do every day. Bam! I was like, boom, go do what you do every day. Oh my goodness. What do I do every day? I put it on every day is what basketball was all about, and putting all that together and everything. So I went on that court, and over the 2 weeks, man, I'm telling you, I knew by the second week that I was on the team, saw my name on there. And then after we made the 12, we went to Colorado to see who was going to start. And that was something special, where we were in Colorado Springs, Colorado, trying to kill each other to see who was going to be the star. And it ended up being the starting shooting guard on our national basketball team. Straight up from Panama, you know what I mean? Straight out of Panama, 8-year-old coming out of Panama, coming to the United States and being the starting shooting guard on our Olympic basketball team. You know what I mean? I'm still mad at Jimmy Carter for taking us out of the Olympics and the political side. The Russians are in Afghanistan, so let's show them by not letting the Olympic team go to play. So they used us for political purposes as far as that's concerned. But I was a starter on our Olympic basketball.
Wow.
Our national team. But believe me, Glenn, when I see the national thing all the time, that stuff gives me great pain, man. It gives me great pleasure, and it gives me great pain every time I see that Olympic stuff, and I see the people walking with the flag and representing your country, and they're on the track, and they say, okay, Uruguay, United States, Germany, and they show the teams. I know that I hurt like crazy. It's still painful today. 2020 is still painful today to have that kind of thing taken away. Can you imagine coming from Panama City, Panama, and going all the way throughout and making your national team? So anyway, it was just crazy, but it was special also too to be on that basketball team and to show and prove your wares. Definitely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's the difference between college and the NBA?
The main thing is your mental and physical structure. You've got to be able to, as I would say, take the truth and be accountable for the truth. But right away, there has to be a different level of maturity and understanding of what you need to do and how you apply yourself. When somebody says, "Hey, Glenn, man, get back, Glenn. What you doing?" You know you didn't get back. You can't come back at me because I yelled at you. You the one didn't get back. So just to squash things, just say, "Ro, I got it. I'm gonna get it. Boom. Now I can go on to other things." But if you say something different, Glenn, I'm gonna have to argue with you. You see, now we're gonna have to argue because you did not get back. You did cause the other guy to get a foul. You did cause them to get 2 more points. You understand? Now we're gonna have to argue and fight, and that's gonna be a problem. Be accountable for what you did so that we can squash it so we can move forward. There's a different level of strength and mentality with that. And also when you get to the pros, man, the top players have control of their game. So you don't fool around and let people open and all that kind of stuff. You don't like fool around and this guy might miss. I hope he might not miss. You fool around, you have to be careful. That dude is a pro. That dude is a top line pro. That means he's coming at you. So the idea is that he has control of his game and has lifted his game where he can call on it, command it, and here it comes. It comes. It's right there because he's controlling it. He's controlling it because of all the hard work and the mental focus that it takes to being able to play the game. It's every minute of the game. It's 24 seconds, a 48-minute game with 24-second intervals. You got to be ready to ball, man. You got to be ready to ball. So it's a difference in maturity and the execution, the level of execution of your skill.
Wow. I forgot the person who asked, one of the listeners wanted to know about your battles with Walter Davis.
Woo! Yeah, Walt was a guy that I really enjoyed playing against Walt because it was almost some of the same style as far as that's concerned, catching and shooting, coming off the screen. You got to get to him by half court because you can't let him run up on you, all that kind of stuff because he could shoot the jumper. He had a couple moves, spin moves, and once he got the lock position, it was hell to get out of his way to stop the shot. So for me, it was a lot of fun to play against him because at the end of the day, I won a whole bunch more of those battles as far as that's concerned. And he was a guy I respected a great deal also too because he was also a fierce gentleman on the court. He was fierce and played, but he was also a gentleman on the court as far as that's concerned. Now his buddy Ricky Sobers, who elbowed you in the face, hit you in the stuff, grabbed your jersey, hit you in the nuts. Ricky Sobers was nasty and dirty, but you understood exactly who you going up against and what you had to do in order to implement your game. But I love playing against Walt, and I love playing in Phoenix also too. It was always warm, it was always nice. The rims was always smooth. It was always good. That's one of my favorite places to play was in Phoenix.
Well, another guy I know you gave the business to, and he said it out of his own mouth, was Michael Jordan.
Shoot, well, listen though, Mike will have you twisting the knots if you fool around with that kind of stuff too, because his greatness is far and a cut above. He had the physicality, he had the skills, he had also the energy, power. He was a power and strength almost like a little power forward in how strong he was and that kind of stuff. But the thing with Mike is that the only thing you can do, and this is not looking at you coaches talking about writing stuff on a board and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. You're not doing none of that. And all that stuff you wrote, look at the career. It don't work. It didn't work. So you understand that don't work. And I'm telling you that, and you already know it. Don't be mad at me because you're the one wrote on the board and you know it didn't work. The important thing
Tell him, bro. Tell him, bro.
The important thing about Mike, man, is that You have to have offensive skills, and the only way you have a chance is to go at him. You have to go at him. I used to go at him, and so did Reggie Miller, so did Mitch Richmond. Those guys that you have a chance to, you have to give him a chance to foul you and to know and respect the value of what's going on. But that's the only chance you have, is to be able to use your skills also to put points on the board, to being able to get those things done. And don't forget, if you're out in the open and you find yourself alone, don't have no pride. Just yell out loud, help, 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 help. That's how you do that. That's how you do that. Don't be saying stuff like, I got him, I don't need no help. Nope. Yell for the next man next to you. Come over here and get the ball out of this guy's hands, because he was that special player that could play the game at the highest level, and the cut was above everybody else. So you had to use your skills to go up against him, to make him play some defense, and that's when I used to be able to have a chance to get him.
Well, I also was reading that you was a very important person to have on the team, and also to have in the locker room, because you exemplify what a professional should be.
It's just all the things I learned from my mom and all the things that I learned from Teddy. That's the basic part of the whole thing too. A guy like Ted was a lifesaver, because I keep telling people all the time, he not only helped me with not only the game, but he helped a lot of other kids also too. All of us that were in the program, guys went on to be real estate agents, bankers, teachers, different situations that they put themselves. They went on to be coaches also. But he gave us the situation and understood that it's a team game, the camaraderie, the respect, the value, the integrity that's necessary in order to carry on from game to game to game. You're playing with 12 people plus a coaching staff, so you got to come together under some kind of moral rule. There has to be a morality about what you're trying to get accomplished, and trying to do that for the next man. I care for you, you care for me, and we go on as brothers out there on the court to being able to beat the opponent and try to get that done. And that's what was important to me. And Teddy was the one that laid that down for all of us to see day after day in his own life, and how he carried himself on the basketball court and the things he taught us. So it was him who gave us the path and showed us the way.
Wow. Well, one of the questions that Phil Hayes wanted to ask was, what was Pat Riley thinking when he left John Stark in the game and had you on the bench, the gunner from Brooklyn that he could count on, the same guy that there was no all season, right? No seconds after the clock on the All-Star game, and you show why you're the confident king.
It's just a matter of pain.
What the hell was he thinking?
That's one of the situations that pains me the most all the way throughout, because at the end of the day, guys, I know it, he knows it, because I said to him I was ready to play, to help John out.
I knew you was ready.
Oh, listen, John's a fantastic player, man. He came through so many times, putting all these pieces together. He was like butter, man, playing the game and playing with such great intensity. But in those times, he just needed help. Let the man sit down for a minute so he could do that and understand that I'm playing against Houston, a team that I was wearing out on a regular basis. I had a high scoring average against them dudes, just whooping them down. The important thing about it was that it was a situation where you needed a veteran touch at that time. You needed that kind of thing to come through, and somebody who wasn't scared, somebody who knew the situation, somebody who understood where we were and what we had to get accomplished. And just give John a chance to calm down, get a Gatorade so that he could cool out, instead of just busting the 2 for 18, and we couldn't get to where we needed to go. I tell you what though, I had a 35-40 minute shower after that. I just stayed under the shower and let the water run over my head, and I knew that it was done. That was over. That was it. No more NBA basketball as far as that's concerned, because I could not go through the things with New York anymore in that way. And I knew that the opportunity was gone and it was finished. We had just lost the championship in Houston. And now it was time to move on to other things and try to get the opportunities to move forward. But all I can say is that Coach Riley has since apologized for that. No problem. But the important thing was, I'm telling everybody, I was ready. We
knew. Listen, let me tell you, we all knew. Great question, Phil. Thank you.
That's all. I was ready. So I wasn't like you're not ready. I was ready to play. So that's the main factor.
Screaming, put Rolando in. Put Rolando in.
Because it's a big situation, and I was ready for that. That was my situation. I was a go-to guy. I was a last-second shot maker. So the important factor was I was ready to go, ready to help, but I didn't get the call. I was real disappointed and still remain disappointed today, man, for the opportunity lost.
Listen, my artist never says anything. When I brought that question up, you saw the reaction?
Yeah, I understand, man. I understand.
You know, so we got love for you. We always bet on Brooklyn or New York City, right? We gonna bet on New York City all the time.
Definitely. So, man, being ready to play and be ready for the action. When it gets rough and tumble, you know the guys from New York are gonna be stepping forward, and that's the important part. You know what I mean? Which is good. But that's the main factor. That's past now, and the important factor is that I hope they can get there one day again, man, and get that win.
that's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. He a Knicks fan. I don't really like the Knicks. I rooted for you though.
I hope.
It's what it is.
I hope, my man. Believe me.
All right. So last couple of questions, right? Who is the best 3 players you played against in high school? 1, college, and the pros. I need 1 for each one.
Oh yeah. In high school, in high school, it had to be Al King. It had to be Al. Al was so fantastic in playing the game, shooting the ball, playing defense, knocking balls down, doing turnaround jumpers, shooting. He was a cut above in high school. He was a cut above everybody else and showed it on a regular basis in that way too. So Al was number 1 in college. In college, it had to. In college, it had to be, let me see, probably a guy like Darnell Valentine, and yeah, the DV was a bad boy, stealing the ball, shooting the ball, playing for KU at the time. I would have to put it at that, or if I go over to Arizona State at the time that had Williams on it, that had Byron Scott on it, it had Kurt Nymphius on it, it had Sam Williams on it. I mean, that team was crazy. But Byron Scott was on that team also too, to being able to play that game. I think those 2 players, as far as that's concerned, and the pros, man, the pros, it's got to be, you got to be crazy, But number one would have to be at the time I'm playing. It would have to be Michael Jordan. It can't be anybody else. But don't sleep on the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and don't fool around when you got a 6'9" point guard by the name of Magic Johnson get the rebound and is coming at you full speed, jerking everybody around, and then all of a sudden he makes a deft pass right on the money to a person just to lay it up. You can't play with that. You can't play with that. That you got bad boys in there too, man. You got Larry Bird.
All right, hold on. We're gonna come back for one more session. I got 3 more questions to ask, and we're gonna be done.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm coming right back.
Perfect.
All right. So you was talking about the top player, right? And that was Michael Jordan, right? The pro.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
expanded it on to other greats.
Yes.
What do you do to stay healthy these days and stay in shape?
The biggest piece of the puzzle is that there's no more. I'm 61, right? I'm 61 young. So when you talk about that kind of stuff, you still have to get out there and still hit some miles. And we're not talking about 3.5 hours, 3.5 hours in one session, 3 hours in one session like we used to do before, and 3 hours in the afternoon again to being able to be ready for NBA games. I'm just talking about hitting 2.5, 3 miles, making sure I'm lifting weights, making sure I do my core workouts, all those kind of things. But when you talk about, and you're talking about these kids, or what are you talking about, my man? Hit me.
No, I was just talking about how you stay in shape these days.
Oh no, just
early on, I wasn't giving them lessons on why they should listen to you.
Nah, it's important to keep the run going, to keep the body moving, running, and lifting weights, keeping the core well, keep your stomach from going over your belt line, that kind of stuff, and making sure that your back muscles are in shape, and making sure that your cardiovascular is what's going on. And definitely what you're eating is what's important also too. Bust the fruits and vegetables, and having the opportunity to get your nice fresh proteins and all of those kind of things, and cut down on the sugars and sweets and all those kind of things, and a bunch of water, man, a bunch of water, and just enjoy life, enjoy the life and all that kind of stuff, man. Yeah, I know people want to go out with their friends and all that kind of stuff too, but that don't mean you got to be sucking down alcohol just to be with them or to act like you in, because you're not really in nothing that's going to get you where you need to go. Period. So understand what you have to do, especially if you're going to be a serious player, man, because your body leads to your mind, and your functionality leads to having an excellent core and what you need to get accomplished.
Definitely. Or you could just have one of my man Phil Hayes, Seymour's juices right here.
Or you can have, yep, you gotta and listen though, you gotta have all the elements, man, that take you where you need to go, which is important. And that's not alcohol, but with that kind of stuff. And don't forget the last piece though, Glenn, get some sleep, fellas, get some sleep. It's okay to sleep 7 hours, baby. Get some sleep. All that 4 hour stuff is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You gotta get your body together. You gotta rip and run, and you gotta rest and recover. See what I mean? When you get that balance going back and forth, then you now get a chance to put a healthy, strong body on the line every time. That's important. All that short sleep stuff and don't get any rest or eating bad food, you got a short limit. It's gonna catch up to you.
Wow. So with all this knowledge and experience you gathered for all these years, are you passing this down to anyone in your family, any children?
Oh yeah, I mean, I teach and still coach. I still coach the game and still coach the philosophical part of what's going on. It's important to me to do that. I mean, Teddy and I are working on some stuff right now that we're gonna bring back to New York, bring back to Brooklyn, and do that here in Dallas, and have a place to do some stuff when I do in Panama City. And that's a huge basketball academy. We're just getting the funding for it, and being able to put those pieces together through a school, and having the chance to teach the game, and also have the kids have an opportunity to apply themselves through STEM programs, through language functions, through cultural development, and really having an opportunity to increase their value and their worth to themselves and to society around them. So they just have to understand, get out of the ignorance, and make sure you apply yourself with full understanding. And that's what we want to bring to the kids, as well as how to shoot a dead-eye jumper, man. Especially when he got his hand in your face. It's too late, baby. Too late.
That's right. Listen, you're one of the rarities. Yourself, Rob Phelps, you know, I put myself in there.
Yeah,
people who are tall and can shoot from New York City.
Put the
right?
ball in the hole.
There's not too many shooters that come from New York City. Got a lot of ball handlers, got a lot of athletes, but not a lot of dead-on shooters. And I'm telling you, my brother, you rarely miss.
Just trying to put the ball in the hole when I had the connection with the rim, man. That's the main thing about it. That's all I was thinking about. Grab the ball, position, lock, and release. That's the main factor. But that took hours and hours of work, though. People, it's not just shooting around. It's shooting 3 hours in the morning, going back in the evening and shooting for another 2 hours, and doing that over and over again, where the connection was knowing where you are on the floor and how much space you needed to being able to get that basketball into that hole. And that was what was important. So it's just a matter of working on your craft, having control and command of your craft. And if you can do that, then you can apply yourself with some other great skilled players and become a really good team.
And this leads up to our last question, our next to last, at least. NBA All-Star Game. What is like 1.2, 3 seconds on the clock? You got all these great players on your team, and you get the ball.
Yeah, man.
And they had the confidence to let you go, try to score. They each knew you was a monster, so they came to foul you. No seconds on the clock. This is at the biggest stage basketball besides the NBA championship. What is going through your mind as you are at the foul line, about to knock down these two joints?
No, the biggest thing on my mind was to go through the routine, man. Routine of what you know you can do. You've already done it. You understand where you are. Apply what you already have done. It's nothing new. but you've got to control that when that time comes, because you are a human being, and understand all the human frailties will come to you. They're going to start, all of a sudden, you're going to start feeling a little bit more funny. It's just your body starts to feel, but then that's what you have to have your routine. What is your routine? And I went right through my routine. You can see from when I got the ball, went right by Bird. Like, okay, what are you doing here? Went right by him to the bucket. It was like Isaiah came over and slammed me. Isaiah came over and slammed me, and then the clock went off. But you can see right from that moment, I looked up, no time, wiped my forehead, got my fingertips ready, and walked and tried to start to get my mind ready. And because I played on the Olympic team, and because I played during the summertime with Isaiah, Isaiah knew exactly what I was trying to do. And he came right on over trying to break my mental cycle. You can see him. Punk, you can't do it. You soft. You can't, you gonna miss these. This too big for you. He tried to break the cycle of my brain, but I just went through a routine. Put my hands, got my fingers wet, making sure I understood I could grip the ball, understood where I was, go through my dribbles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now lock, put the ball up and over. The first one hit the rim. The first one hit the rim, hit the back, and then went straight in. I knew right then I had the distance now. Now with the feel, I knew I had the distance. And here comes Isaiah again, trying to talk all this trash, but I didn't delineate any kind of mental focus or emotion to him. I didn't give him any emotion. Nothing goes to you. All is kept with me for the job that I had. And the second part now was you start to get a little bit nervous. You start to, because here it is now. And now you'll go through your mind. Confidence, baby. Confidence. Confidence, baby. Confidence. Confidence, baby. Dribble that ball. Confidence, baby. And look at that basket and let that bad boy go. Confidence, baby. Confidence! And then, you know what I mean? Put that ball in the hole. And I tell you what, Glenn, that was one of the greatest feelings I've ever had in my life. Hitting those shots in that situation, no time on the clock, all-star game amongst your peers. And you look at the tape when you go over there, I got high fives from Worthy, Kareem.
Yes.
I got some of the baddest boys in the world giving me high fives, and we've gone to overtime. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world to be amongst your peers and come through in that way, to value yourself in that way, and to really move forward and to come through, Glenn, to come through. That's the main thing. And I was very, very happy, and I thought about Teddy. I thought about all the times we're going through all that, all the practices from my coach in college, all my teammates at the Mavericks at that time with Mark Aguirre on the team, and Derek Harper waiting back at home, and all those kinds of things. It was just very, very special. So I was glad to come through for the organization, for myself, my family, my friends in New York. It was on because it was like, yo, you coming up there. Yeah, you coming up there. You feel that you got the weight of this thing, and you got people there that's with you. People with you. So it was good to come through, and it's good to do what you normally do, and to go hit these free throws and get off the court. So we went into overtime and beat them in the overtime, and it was real special, definitely.
Oh man, was so happy for you at that time. Definitely. I'm telling you.
Definitely.
To get to speak to you the other day, and then watch film of you. So it's a difference. You could watch film of someone and never meet them before, but when I spoke to you and got to understand what kind of person you were, right? Because we never spoke, never met.
No, we haven't. No.
And then when I watch you, yeah, I get it. I see why you was a 4-time NBA All-Star. Basketball.
Telephone, that was my internet was messing up there for a minute, but Glenn, it's just a proper opportunity for coaches like Coach Gustus and the people all around me, all my teammates from Dipmus, all the fellas that were around there, to learn and to understand exactly what it took. Is that it took a village, though. I didn't do it by myself. I had a whole bunch of people helping me. that's why I give Brooklyn and the people so much thanks, so much love, so much care, because they're the ones who raised me and gave me the opportunity to understand and put the things that I needed in order to move forward. I left Brooklyn when I went to college, just like Kung Fu did, with my bag and running through this kind of stuff and just getting to one challenge after the other. But I was prepared by my sensei, you know what I mean? And the town around me. So thank you, and thank you all. Believe me.
Nah, this has been a pleasure, man. You know, a kid from Brooklyn surviving in Kansas, man. Listen, I give you all the props, man. I give you all the props. So this is what we're gonna do right now.
You ready?
Right?
Sweet picture too. I remember that picture also too. Like just rolling in against Magic. Rolling in against Magic to the basket, for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Rolling in
wow,
against,
you have a great memory.
Yeah,
that's
man,
the picture.
Because rolling in against Magic and then Byron, that's Byron's right foot you see there. And then I rolled in, and then he forced me to pass that ball to Derek in the corner for a nice three. So it worked out either way. That's a nice picture too, man. That's a nice picture too. Excellent too, man. Fantastic. See, that's the kind of stuff, the artistry. I gotta get to you, my man. I need a logo for my foundation, man. So
listen,
hey,
brother.
You know, I need a logo for my foundation, man. Some people that could do the job. And also I'm paying too. So that's cool. Let's get with it.
Hey, this is promotion for my guy, right? and definitely we want to give something to the people who come on and show that we appreciate you guys and want to give you your crowns and flowers while you're here, right? So this is our appreciation for your impact on New York City basketball and doing so well and having guys like me be able to look up to you and aspire to be a professional and do great things.
Much love, much care, much love. God bless, man. Thank you guys very much. And I'll see you soon, man, because I'll be back in Brooklyn. Like I said before, with Teddy, putting some things together, and we'll all be together trying to continue to keep it forward. All right, Glenn.
Definitely.
Take good care.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. Peace.
Appreciate you, bro.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. All right, guys. We definitely